Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny. This is Starseed Academy. Thank you for joining me for another video here. I want to start by saying thank you so much to all of those who supported me, after the last video. It was pretty dramatic. And I was really nervous also to talk about that subject matter. And so all of your really supportive comments meant so much to me. Thank you so much. It just I was in such a place of discomfort with that subject matter and talking about it. If you don't know what video I'm talking about a video called We Battled a Demon and Won to Tell or Live to Tell the Tale. It was very real, as kind of silly as the title is of that video. It was actually a very, very dark and very real experience that was scary to share because nobody wants to be connected to that kind of energy. I don't care who you are. But important to share because there was so much to be learned from that experience. So if you haven't checked that out yet, it's the last video from last Sunday. And again, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody that understood where I was coming from with making a video like that, understood the vulnerability that took, and saw the lessons, saw the whole point of it. And so thanks for getting me, you guys. Oh my God. All right. So today I want to talk about something that I get asked about a lot, and I get asked a lot about it a lot by people that I think are feeling called, little niggling feelings inside, feeling called to give up some substances, but they don't want to. They're not quite ready to do it yet. And so though I feel a lot of fear frequency in the questions when they ask me get messages like, is it okay that I'm still having a glass of wine at night? Is that all right? Or is it okay if I still smoke pot? And I recently saw someone in my YouTube comments asking me this again, and it's come up so many times. I thought, I have not talked about this in a long time. Let me just really go there. I want to share with you why I personally gave up alcohol and marijuana. And I want to answer the question of is it good or bad? And how can it affect your spiritual path? And put the power in your hands to make these really big life choices. These are very big life choices of how you want to live your life, and it will change your life completely. Absolutely, it has mine. And it's not easy. Honestly, I have had a lot of sorry, I'm so fidgety. Oh my God, what's going on? I have had a lot of dark nights of the soul. But I still think that getting sober was the hardest thing I've ever done. I've done a lot of hard things, a lot. And it's wild to me how difficult that is. And so, if I could speak to my past self, of course, hindsight is 2020. I would tell her, don't even put yourself in a position where you have to quit something that's so hard to quit. Don't even get there in the first place, and then it won't be so hard. But oh my God, right? How can you? What will be, and then we find our way through it. And this is how we build really unbelievable strength and resilience. Okay, so I want to jump into this, and I have a lot of notes, handy dandy notebook for you. I'm going to share a bunch of stuff just about alcohol, weed, mushrooms, plant medicine, okay? And before we jump into this video, I want to remind you to please make sure that you are subscribed because there are new videos on this channel. I just saw an orb, really quick one. There are new videos on this channel every Sunday. And I'm pretty much I don't know, out of I've been doing this how many years now? Since 2019, 4 years, going on 5 years of this YouTube channel. And I very rarely miss a video. So you've got so much to dive into if you're new here. Oh my God, there are hundreds of videos. Use the playlists to guide you. That sometimes can be a way to sift through so much of it. Or you can always message me, do you have a video on this? Do you have a video on that? I literally have a video on everything, so I definitely will. Pretty much everything. So, okay, what else did I want to say? Oh, I wanted to share one other thing. There's been some people that have been asking me about my program, Psychic Light. This is a psychic development program where you discover your soul gifts and then you master them to the point of being so confident that you are ready to offer them in service to others for in exchange for money. And the kinds of students that I get inside this program are aspiring spiritual entrepreneurs, which means they're not there yet. And the first thing is to really master your gifts and your confidence. Otherwise, you don't have anything to offer. So that's the first step, right? And it also, like, your soul gifts should be the foundation of your business. So those are the things that you want to find out right at the beginning. So that way, when you start building the empire, you know what you're doing and you know what it's based on. It's really powerful stuff, right? Your business should reflect or mirror your soul gifts and your own soul frequency. But the other half of the students that I get are beautiful entrepreneurs already. Like, oh my gosh, like breathwork practitioners, energy healers, mediums, tarot card readers. I mean, just so many beautiful different kinds of spiritual entrepreneurs, even therapists. And even I've actually had a lot like mindset coaches, and they come into Psychic Light because they know that if they amp up their intuition, their ability to channel, to tune in, to receive information for a client, that they're going to take their services to like high value, top level kind of services. And it works every time. It's how oh God, that was an absolute orb. Same pathway that it took before. I wonder if we're looping. I always talk to them because it encourages them to come back. So hello, little orb, I just saw you. Thank you so much. Please feel free to come dance in the video. We love you. Appreciate you. I really feel this keeps coming up for me. I'm having this video. Oh my God, what is going on? I'm so sorry. I'm a little all over the place, aren't I? But I just had this other thought that's not related to anything we've talked about so far. So here we go. I have been being called by like a thunderbird. Does that sound crazy? Because every time that I meditate, I see it. Every time I go to tune in, it's there. Like lately, not always, like, but the last like couple of months. And then I have this card deck and I pulled, like, I didn't even know that the card was in there. And I pulled the Thunderbird card and I was like, how is this? You can't make this up. And then I was listening to my audiobook this morning and I tapped play as I was like, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, brushing my teeth, whatever. I've got a book on the go. And they said Thunderbird so clearly in the book. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what? Do you know what I mean? That's when you know, ooh, you in the flow, all the signs are coming together. This is a new guide for me. I don't really know a whole lot about them yet, but I look forward to the day when you see me creating a video on it because I've actually like gotten to know them and learned why we're working together. That should be really exciting. To sum up, what were we talking about? We were talking about Psychic Light and the fact that amazing spiritual entrepreneurs, like the breathwork practitioners, the therapists, the counselors, the mentors, the coaches, the tarot readers, the mediums, all of that. Oh my God, I love you guys so much. The energy healers, like God sends me all the energy healers, I swear to God, and all the mediums. They all flock to me. I love them so much. I just think what they're doing is so important in this world. And I take them to the next level, like every time. And it will change your business. I mean, it will. It's like if you feel like your gifts are this big, then your offerings are only ever going to be this big. But when you just take on, like, there are soul gifts you haven't even activated yet, and there are other levels to the ones that you're using, new levels to unlock. Always be on a journey of growth. If you haven't felt your gifts growing or expanding in a while, this will do that for you, Psychic Light. And then the entrepreneurs that go away from me after Psychic Light, this beautiful certified course, go away with like, oh my God, like I'm ready to create new stuff, like programs, big programs and courses that can house their huge expanding gifts now. It's a very different feeling to go from just single session burnout, like just, 60-minute Zoom meetings with a million clients a week. And then you got to get out of that or you'll never grow into let's expand what we're doing, right? So anyway, all right. So I think I've talked enough about that. So Psychic Light is open. The doors are open right now. We have officially started on Tuesday. We've only had one class, so it's really, really easy to catch up at this point, right? So I'm leaving the doors open for now because everything's recorded, everything's there for you. If you've missed one or two classes, you're good, but I will close the doors after week 2 because then I just feel like I don't want anybody to feel like they are racing to catch up or they're the new kid in class. That's not so great, but right now we're still finding ourselves in there, so it's brand new still. So please come on in and message me if you have questions. All right, so let's jump into the actual point of today's video, why I gave up alcohol and marijuana, and cheers to Hogwarts. And the Hogwarts video game is absolutely insanely amazing, by the way, because I am all about ADHD thoughts today. Okay, so the first thing that I want to share with you is the note that, okay, so here we go about this. So if you've been wondering if you've been like having those thoughts in your mind, like, oh, should I be doing this? Should I be giving this up? If your guides are nudging you to maybe give something up, whether it's sugar, caffeine, alcohol, marijuana, other drugs, shopping, whatever addiction you feel, whatever vice it is that you are escaping into, we can talk about that, okay? It's all going to be able to apply to this video. So listen up, because this is definitely for you. And I wish that I had seen this video when I was struggling so hard. So the thing is that every single thing in this universe, beyond Earth, like every single thing in our entire multiverse, has a frequency. Everything can be measured. That means like every thought that you have, like it doesn't just mean like, again, with the Hogwarts, but it doesn't just mean physical things have a frequency. I mean, if you think something, the thought has a frequency that is separate from you, right? What you speak, the words that you speak, have a frequency that is separate than you. Your soul frequency in your high heart, where your soul sits in the body, that's a soul signature that has its own set point, which means what's your neutral? And for a long time, my neutral was deep anxiety. That was my neutral, right? That's sad to even look back on that for me, like, because then you grow to a place where neutral is your neutral. And then you can grow to a place where love is your neutral. Like, what's your resting state? If you were a car and you were idling, what's your frequency resting state? Is it anxiety, neutrality, love, or any other kind of like emotion in there? So everything can be measured, especially how powerful our emotions are and our thoughts are. So that means that locations have a frequency. There's different places on the earth that are going to be good for you and your soul signature, and there's going to be ones that are not good for you. Some people are not meant to live in the city, and some people need that. They love that lively hustle and bustle, like energy of it. And you know, whether you're a city person or not, like that's the most extreme case. It's like I grew up in the city, and I've had enough. You know, I had enough like in my late 20s, and then that was it for me. I was never going to live in a city again after that. You can feel the frequency, right? So if everything has a frequency and you have a frequency, then that means that everything that you expose yourself to can alter you and your set point frequency. Okay, so that means that you are constantly consuming. And I don't just mean food, I mean you're consuming everything. Entertainment has a frequency. Is that show high vibe or low vibe? That's a very simplistic view, but you know what I mean? Music, food, drinks, people, definitely, relationships, your job. Oh my God, what doesn't? It all does. And you can't lock down your aura so that you're not interacting with other people and these frequencies at play all around you. Just by sitting here in this moment with my aura is porous, okay? Your aura is a porous thing. Think about it like that, like skin. Your skin is porous. Everything's going to get in. So it's up to you to choose what situations you put yourself in. Because you can't hang out with negative Nancy 7 days a week and not have it rub off on you. You just can't. It's impossible, right? And vice versa, if you hang out with somebody who's unbelievably inspiring and really, really working on themselves, that gets to affect you too. And those are just people on the outside around you that you might interact with. How much more so does something affect you when you consume it and it becomes a part of your body? Everything that you intake, smoke, drink, eat, everything becomes the building blocks of your physical form, right? They say you are what you eat. It's very true. So that's an even more intimate act, right? Sex is a very intimate act that you would want to really consider the other person's frequency, because it's as a woman or a man, it's a very much like an exchange of energy and bodily fluids and all the things. And then what you're literally putting into your mouth or drinking or smoking is huge as well. Of course, everything, like I said, though, plays a part. Everything around you plays a part. But these are really hot topics if you're literally intentionally consuming something. So let's talk about, oh, I think I have a scale of frequency to make this even clearer. So whatever corner, I'll probably pop that up maybe over here for you. If I chose the other corner, cool. In my editing room after. So basically alcohol, okay, let's look at the scale of frequency first. I'm probably going to put it over here since I'm leaning this way. Let's look at the scale of frequency here in front of us. And you can see that the lowest frequency that anybody can feel is shame. That's the lowest one, right? Not anger, not anger. Anger still has some life force in it. Shame. Shame is debilitating. Shame is like depression maxed. It's like insane, right? That's the worst thing that you can do to yourself. So there's the first place to start healing. And then at the very top, we can see things like oneness, enlightenment, bliss, joy, all of those really good feelings. But most of us fall somewhere in between the top and the bottom, right? So again, this comes down to how much work have you done on yourself? Because the inner child work, or the shadow work that everyone likes to call it, is really just purging heaviness. You're purging pain and grief and sadness and trauma. You purge it, right? Purge it out of yourself. You get it out of your body, you get it out of your head, you get it out of your heart, whether that's with energy work or therapy or releasing activities, breath work, crying, journaling, however you can release and forgive. It's essentially, though, just getting heavier energy out of your body. Dense, on the bottom of the scale, heavy, dense, low stuff. How can we get that out? Because if you carry heavier or denser energy, even if you want to be the most enlightened person, it's always going to pull you down. It's always going to pull you down. You can't really move on until you let go of that weight of trauma and pain, right? And anger and all the things. So, and when you do that and you let go of that, you create more space in your body for light as well, which is like that super high at the top of the frequency chart. So if the goal is to let go of the heavy lower stuff and move more into the light and into the higher stuff to feel good, you just want to feel good, and you start to bump up your set point maybe to neutral, that's a huge accomplishment. You should be really proud of that. That took me a long time to get to that place. Like I said, my set point was anxiety. So let's talk about where things like these substances fall on this scale. So, and this is not coming from me. I actually researched this part so that it would be exact. Alcohol is 270, the number 270, which is pretty close to just neutral. Okay, and then weed is 350 on the vibrational scale, and that is acceptance. So what that means is when I was extremely anxious and the highest, my neutrality, not the highest I could get, because I could still have a really good day, but on average, my set point was anxiety. How do you think I'm going to feel if I have a drink, a glass of wine? I'm going to feel better. How do you think I'm going to feel if I smoke some weed? I'll feel a lot better, right? That's where it feels like these things are helping you and lifting you up, okay? Now, you will notice as you deepen into this work that there's a point where what used to support you starts to feel very different. And suddenly, I would have that glass of wine and at the end of the night, and I would feel depressed, like low, especially once the little buzz wears off, because alcohol really doesn't have anything to offer, to be totally honest with you, because it's 100% a depressant, which means exactly what it sounds like. It's very depressing. You only feel good for the little buzz, but the after effects are devastating most of the time. And And so what used to feel like, for me, it was like smoking weed a lot. What used to feel like magic, like all of a sudden my head was clear. I could be present. I could feel my connections to spirit. I could receive downloads. I just felt like a lot better version of myself, right? And until I surpassed it. So if alcohol is what, or sorry, if weed is 350, at some point I surpassed that on my path, right? I surpassed acceptance as my resting state. And suddenly I was up in the 400s or the 500s. And now when I smoke pot, I feel exhausted, tired, grumpy. I actually remember there, like, when I was trying to not, I didn't want to quit because I loved it so much at the time. But I remember paying attention to how it actually made me feel. Okay, how do I feel before I smoke it? And then right after, and then an hour later. And I would feel pretty good. And then I'd smoke it and I'd feel kind of anxious. And then I'd feel exhausted, tired, grumpy, and hungry, like the munchies. And it's like, if that's the case, then it's now holding me back. It's now holding me back because if I get home from my job and I smoke some pot and I get really anxious, so maybe I exercise or go for a walk or do some house cleaning, and then I feel kind of like tired and grumpy and depressed, so then I just snack and watch TV. How is that a life like that's worthy of me? Because it's not, because I have really big dreams and I need all of the time in my day and my evenings to be that version of myself, my highest self, who's clear in her head and can be like, oh shit, I just had an idea for some content. Oh my God, I just had an idea for a program. Oh my God, I forgot to email that person back. Whatever it is, I need to be there present. So again, you will notice that what used to help you starts to bring you down. And that is the point where you start to get nudged. Because before that point, you're not really ready to hear this, and you would never click on a video like this ever. You'd be like, nope, don't want to watch that because you're not ready to give it up, so you don't even want to hear the other side of the argument. You're like, no, it's serving me, it's serving me. Okay, let it serve you. That's okay, right? Um, and speaking about it serving you, I have to say, I kind of feel like weed saved my life because I was in such a bad state emotionally. I had PTSD, I had an anxiety disorder, I was feeling pretty like suicidal. I mean, it was a bad time for me. And when I would rely on this frequency of acceptance, weed is acceptance. When I would be able to just accept the moment that I was in, it just got me through, right? So I do feel like in a strange way, it saved my life. But here's the problem, because it saved my life because it got me through, okay, if I'm going to go through a dark night of the soul for this chunk of time, I can't do that raw. So that's what helped me get through that in a way. And then after that, when I started to grow and surpass the frequency of what the plant was, that's when it actually did the opposite. And it was then pulling me down. So is it serving you? Where's your set point frequency? This isn't about good or bad then. This is about where are you at in your journey? Is it going to support you or is it going to bring you down? Now, there's another layer here that I have to speak on though, because it's not also as clear cut as that. The other layer is dependency. Because if you are dependent on anything, that's also a problem though. Because dependency equals escapism. And that means that even if it's helping you through a dark night of the soul, if you're doing it every single day, that dependent on it, like a daily glass of wine or a daily joint or something like that, then the dependency means that you are trying to escape the situation you're in, and you're no longer having this substance actually help you through it. You're avoiding. So there's also a fine line there. So really, really, really be careful because it is very dangerous to you could like lose 5 years before you know it. Escaping, avoiding. That happened to me. like, I think I lost like 3 years straight where I was like, okay, I'm really going to give this up. And then I blinked and it was 3 years later and I hadn't given it up. And I was like, wow, like I just wasted so much time that I could have been building something like my dreams, like my dream life, right? Which is what I'm doing now, which is so amazing. So just keep your eye on it, because something that can help you through a dark time where your set point is below acceptance or your set point is below neutral and you're in such a bad state, then I would say like weed would be better for me than like, I mean, this is a whole other conversation, but if a doctor was going to try to force me onto some kind of like anti-anxiety medication with a million side effects, or I could smoke a little weed, well, yeah, that's why I say weed really saved my life and got me through some hard times. But I made the mistake of spiraling downwards into dependency because that's my personality. I get it honestly. Like my father is an alcoholic and an addict and I started seeing this. That was actually like, this is very vulnerably personal, but that was my turning point. I remember just like hearing either my higher self or maybe just me saying like, you're becoming the person that hurt you the most. You're literally becoming him. What are you doing? And I was like, oh, I get chills even just saying that. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm a zombie. What? And I'm not treating the people I love very well right now. And that's the life of being an addict though. Okay, so again, when you notice that what used to help you starts to bring you down, you've outgrown it, and it's not helping you anymore. And that's when you let it go. Or if you notice that you are someone like me that can easily get too attached to things and become dependent, addicted, and is using it to escape life. If you're using these kinds of things to escape your big emotions and anxiety and trauma, that's actually probably going to be worse in the end, and it was for me. I'll be honest with you, because what happened was at the end of all of these years of me avoiding shit, all I was left with was I'm not feeling any better. All I've done is avoid, 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 avoid. And what happens when we avoid problems? They like it's like the shadows grow and they get stronger. And since I've just been turning a blind eye, that's when you turn away from shadows, they get stronger. You want to always face things with your light. So what happened for me was I get to this final decision to let things go, and then I had to face things that were way bigger that had grown and grown and grown. And I also had to now deal with not just facing my trauma, my memories, my healing, and my shadows of all of the pain that I had been through, but now I also had to deal with like withdrawal. Oh my God, it was really hard. It was like 30 days of absolute hell to try to get through that. Why put yourself through that? You know what I mean? So there's a big difference between somebody like using weed here and there to kind of like bump them up in their frequency because they know they're not there yet, versus every day, every day, every day, every day. If you're having a glass of wine every day, if you're smoking weed every day, it's a different kind of problem than frequency. We're now into what are you escaping from? You're going to make it so much worse. And that's really hard to hear. And I know that it is. But if I can face my shadows and deal with like this horrible withdrawal all at once, then so can you. I would definitely recommend, if that's what you want to do, I would really recommend relying on family and friends. Like tell at least one or two people what you're going to try to do, where you're at, how much you're hurting, and what you need to do. I need to get sober. I have a real problem. Tell somebody and then ask them to check up on you. And God bless my mother. She called me like every day for that 30 days of really hard times. And it made a difference to have somebody care. And also because I'm me, and I would recommend, because if you're watching this, you're going to have the same kind of gifts. I would also recommend relying on your guides. Pray and communicate with spirit and Baba, God source, guides, higher self, angels. Ask for help. If you don't ask them, like there's this free will thing where they can't just swoop in and take over. Ask for help. That's up to you to ask for help. But they can literally bring you so much soothing comfort and a more positive mindset to help you get through things. So just ask for help with that. Okay. So you have to ask yourself then, where is your frequency set point? Where are you where's your average? And then you can kind of decide what's right for you, and then having an eye on, am I a dependent? And deciding what's right for you. So those are the kind of like the two things that you would want to look at with this. So I said I was going to talk about mushrooms and plant medicine as well. So I don't think that I could find, because I think there's so many kinds of mushrooms maybe, but I just know that ayahuasca has an extremely high frequency, and mushrooms, when used with respect in a spiritual ritual, can also be like a lot higher than weed. Okay, like much higher. Like we're talking like, I mean, between maybe 4 and 500. And ayahuasca maybe even a little higher. Like it's powerful stuff. But the problem there is to do that here and there, to have breakthrough moments is beautiful, but can you connect on your own to those frequencies and feelings? Because it can connect you to something really nice and high, but you don't want to rely on anything, remember. And you also want to learn the tools of how to do that for yourself. So personally, I've never done like an ayahuasca ceremony, and I've never done like, I'm not going to do plant medicine in ceremony, because I've learned how to have those experiences on my own, which is so powerful. And I truly believe that you can have DMT crazy visual experiences just with intention, with breath work. Breath work's wild, what it can bring forward for you. Breath work, intention, ritual, sacred ceremony, all of that can get you there. So if you don't want to, you don't have to participate in those things, and you don't have to feel like you are missing out if you don't participate in those things, basically. Okay, so that's pretty much where everything falls on the vibrational scale. Those are the things for you to look out for and make these decisions for yourself. But remember, it's not about bad or good, because it's about the person and how they're using something. And so also, let's not be judging others. If we see somebody that, like, that's working on themselves, and maybe these things are still a part of their path, that's definitely nothing to judge, because again, like, I felt like it was actually helping me at a certain point in my life when things were pretty low for me. But once you get into like being a real leader, spiritual leader, new earth leader, you really don't need any of that. Do you know what I mean? So, and I tend to not attract those people anymore, because like I don't tend to attract, like, I wouldn't really necessarily work with a mentor who was participating in a bunch of that stuff, because I do feel like it's going to be like a clash to my own frequency, because that's not where I'm at. I really am about, oh, here's what I should share with you. Here's a gift that I received, okay? So here's a gift that I received from Spirit when I decided to go sober. And it built up gradually, but it's very evident. And this is me giving up alcohol, marijuana, and caffeine, by the way. Oh my God, who am I? What happened was, the reward was that I strengthened my psychic gifts so much. And I think the reason why, or at least one of the really big main reasons why, is that psychic experiences and your clairs, like clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, and your channel, all of that is a lot more subtle than people realize. And I am so hyper clear and so clear in my frequency. I've got a clean and clear channel. Always, always, always. I can pick up on the slightest nuance, on the slightest little signal, on the most subtle vision or word. I get it all. It's like a TV antenna, like extended way, 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 way out to get all the channels in the universe. It's insane. And that to me is a beautiful gift. And now I look at what I'm doing as protecting my frequency. I protect my gifts and I protect my frequency by not consuming this way, or the things around you that can like permeate through osmosis, negative people and dark shows and music and all that stuff. I protect my frequency because I know I'm protecting my gifts, and I can't do my job to my highest ability and stand out the way that I do as this crazy amazing strong channeler who's super accurate and way crazy detailed. Like, honestly, it's a different game that I'm playing, right? So you also would have that to look forward to if you decided to, like, let a lot of these things go, and you will love that feeling. You absolutely love that feeling. Okay, do I have anything here that I didn't comment on? I think pretty much that's it. And so this is really up to you to notice when you're being nudged to let things go. People, jobs, substances, entertainment, whatever it is, if it no longer feels good in your system, you've gone from here to outgrowing it. You've just boop, bumped yourself right up, and now it's going to pull you down, right? So we always want to protect where we are, our set point frequency, our neutral. We always want to protect ourselves from everything below that, because things can absolutely pull you down in all the hard work that you've put into things. So really keep your eye on, I mean, any area of your life, any relationship, anything at all that shifts. Wow, I really used to like really enjoy hanging out with that person, and now whenever I hang out with them, I'm so drained. Like, are they going through something, or is this like a dissonance? Dissonance means there's a huge difference in a frequency range where you're like, whoa, like it's slowly, they slowly started like, or you probably more likely slowly started outgrowing them. You outgrow people all the time. I know that's hard, but you do. You slowly start outgrowing them. And then when you get up to like here, it becomes like you can't ignore it anymore. Well, that's going to happen if you're on this path, right? If you are on a path of ascension, one of the strongest ascension symptoms is exactly that. It's called the purge. You're doing this with your frequency. And like if you get up here, everything below that doesn't feel good in your system anymore. And now you're like, oh my God, I thought this was the right relationship. Or I thought this friendship was so solid. Or I used to love this job. What is going on? What's wrong with me? I used to love it here. Nothing's wrong with you. You're doing everything right, actually, aren't you? And it's a beautiful sign when you outgrow things in your life that you're on the right track. I'm so sorry to say, as hard as that is, it's a beautiful sign that you are on the right track. You are raising your set point frequency. So congratulations to you. And now you've got to start choosing things that honor and support the new you often. It's going to happen often. We're going to hit new plateaus often. So stick with it. Keep things refreshed. It's a big deal, right? Okay. Well, anyway, I don't want to go too long in this video, but I really look forward to like your comments on this. And I want you guys to remember that there should be no judgment in the comment section, because sometimes these things are still for you, right? And I've been there, and that's not fair to judge people, because you don't know who they're going to grow into or become. So don't judge people for that. Yeah, I mean, just keep it positive, right? But I do look forward to reading your comments on this, because I know that this is a one that's going to have a lot of big opinions, and it's not good or bad. It's not. Okay. It's about your story, where you're at, where, if you've outgrown it or not, and how you're using it. Are you respecting it, or are you dependent, right? Good. Okay. Thank you so much for hanging out to the end of this video. I really hope that this can inspire some people to maybe make some steps towards more clarity, more clean living, protecting yourself more. Remember that, on Tuesday evening, we'll be doing the second class inside of Psychic Light. It's not too late to join. I would love to see you and your little high frequency butt in there, learning how to master your gifts. It's so inspirational to me to help people in this way. So come on in, and I love you all so much. And before you go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you, beautiful starseed. Have a great day. Bye.